What up? What up? We are back. Mountain West Hoops Insider. We're getting straight to it. Don't even need an intro. People know who this man is. He's been long enough getting wins. Fresno State in the building. Top 55 in the net. A legitimate NCAA tournament competing team. Coach, talk about this team and this season so far.
Man, it's been a nice little roller coaster of a ride. We got off to a good start. We started the year 5-0 and got the big win over Santa Clara down at the SoCal Challenge.
At that time, were they undefeated at that time, Coach?
They were. It was two undefeated teams playing that championship game.
They were rolling.
Yes, they were. And so got off to a good start, and then hit a few bumps in the road. At Cal, and kind of trying to get healthy. We had some guys that were, nursing some nagging injuries, kind of in and out of the lineup. So we didn't really have, our what we thought was going to be our team to start the year, and then just kind of trying to figure out how to plug guys in and who to play where, and just kind of learning our identity. We were kind of trying to figure that out in the preseason. That's what the preseason is for, and lo and behold, we finally got our first true road win, at Weber State, which was a hard place to play. They score a lot of points and are explosive offensively, and a good team. They're a really good basketball team, and had a really good record coming in, and we were finally able to break through on the road there. And then, then we started conference play, and we went to Boise. Didn't have all our guys there, because of what's going on with the COVID situation. But we've been able to kind of bounce back and had that short pause, and now we're kind of back at it, and just trying to continue to build on some momentum and try to put ourselves in the fight. Right, this time of year in this league, you're just trying to put yourself in the fight. Figure out how to position yourself to give yourself a chance, and our guys are starting to buy into that, and that's one thing we have been doing all year. We're fighting. We're growing up as men and becoming a tough out.
Coach, the last time we had you on, it was an even crazier time as far as COVID-19 is concerned. And I think when we had you on, you didn't even know when your next game was going to be played. And it's just kind of what the reality of what last season was like. As far as this season goes, having fans in the stands and returning to more of a normalcy, I guess we could put it at that. What has that been like for you and your coaching staff, and I guess more specifically your players as well?
It's been good. You go on the road and you play in these environments, and they have there's some real energy in the building. And then even our home games, there's been real energy in the building, and so it's a different feel. Every game has a different feel, and so it's good. It's what college basketball is supposed to be about. The environment at San Francisco was phenomenal. The environment at, going on the road at Cal, at Utah, even at Weber State, you go on these road games, and at Boise, like they prepare you for, what's coming, the games at UNLV, the games at Viejas, the games at the Pit. It's what college basketball has been about. And our kids they've made the adjustment. They've done a really good job, and they're enjoying it. They're learning how to stay together on the road, because that's all you have is your travel group. And we've had some good followings as far as the Red Wave traveling with us to some of these places. But we've got our core group of travel party, and our kids stay together and they play for one another, and that's been great to see.
What would you say is maybe the biggest key to this season in terms of the improvement? Just year over year, you guys have improved quite a bit in a lot of different facets of the game. Do you think there's maybe one key or two keys that's made that happen?
I think we're starting to figure out how to not beat ourselves. You look at the stats. We're pretty good defensively. Top 3 in the nation in points per game allowed. We take care of the ball. We're only turning it over 10, 11 times a game. And we're pretty efficient. We're shooting in the high 40s as a team. And so when you take care of the ball and you defend and you rebound the basketball the way you've been doing it, you don't beat yourself. And you give yourself a chance every night. And I just think, the mentality of our group to be the best defensive team on the floor that night, that's what's giving us a chance. And obviously you got to have some talent on offense. And a lot of nights we feel like we got one of the best players on the floor in Orlando Robinson, and our other group of the guys that are out there are kind of learning how to play. with him or without him for that matter. And so it's been good. We've had some guys step up and Anthony Holland and, Deion Stroud and those guys. We're coming along as a team. Jordan Campbell's done a great job for us. And, I think Isaiah Hill has his attention to detail at the defensive end has really given us the head of our snake, so to speak, at that end of the floor. And so, those are things that we had to improve on, that we felt like as a coaching staff we need to improve on coming into the year. And I think our kids have really bought into that.
So we had Coach Hudson on, I believe it was February or March on this show last season. And he came out and said, like, hey, our chemistry wasn't great at the start of last season. I think guys are still trying to figure out what this team would look like and just improving as the season goes along. Now you guys had an off season where, to be frank, in the Mountain West, like it's hard to retain talent, and whether guys go to pro or whether they transfer, you guys are fortunate enough to have most of your players back. Do you get the sense that there's maybe a better camaraderie or better chemistry on this year's team?
Yeah, and we've got great kids in our program, and so just having a chance to be around each other and this coaching staff, over the course of a spring and a summer, and then having a preseason fall camp and then having a preseason and getting to play in games together. Last year we basically were thrown into the fire with 10 new guys, and we just had to go. We were practicing in games. We didn't even get to practice. We just basically were going out there and trying to figure out what to do and who each other was throughout the course of a game. And that's not a good recipe for success. And you give our kids credit because they fought through it and they got better and better. And at the end of the year, we were a decent basketball team. We finally start to see kind of what we could be if we had, the time that it takes to put a team together and for guys to develop that chemistry. On-court chemistry isn't about, if they like each other, if they play video games together. It's about, can they play together? Can they help each other? Can they cover each other's butt when somebody makes a mistake? Can they rotate and help each other on defense? Can they, can you get open for a guy when he's stuck? That's what on-court chemistry is about. It's not about whether or not they like each other. All our guys do like each other. They're the best team to be around in the airports and having dinners together because they genuinely love each other and enjoy being around each other. But that doesn't always equate to having on-court chemistry. You get that from being in the fire together every day and in a practice and a workout and then playing games together. And that's kind of what we were able to do this year. And we're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor. So
as far as Orlando Robinson is concerned, just an absolute beast this year. He's been dominating statistically. He's one of probably the 5-10 best players in the entire nation. I'd love to know kind of what he's been about, what his leadership's been like, and just what his development focus has been given this massive increase that he's had this season in so many different facets of the game.
Well, I think the biggest thing is like you said, the leadership and where he's put his focus. And his focus has been at the defensive end of the floor. That's been what he's been about. And so from that standpoint, because he's improved tremendously at that end of the floor, we've improved tremendously as a team at that end of the floor. He's always been a good rebounder. He's always been a skilled big man who could pass and make plays for other people. And so that was going to keep getting better. That he brought that to the table from the start. But we challenged him to be better defensively, and he's accepted that challenge. And he's gone out night in and night out to try to be that guy. You see him now getting some steals in games, big blocks. He's where he's supposed to be in ball screen coverage, and so that has been his focus, and that's where he's really stepped up his leadership more so by example than even verbally. He's trying to lead by example and get things right defensively every night, every time down, and be more consistent that end. And that's been a big part of our success.
Is there a player on this roster you think that stands out in terms of maybe being a vocal leader or being that kind of emotional guy? I think particularly with, as far as I can see, like Orlando having maybe kind of a quiet demeanor and just going about his business. Is there a guy who's maybe more vocal about it?
Our guys don't, they kind of all do. And nobody's like really boisterous with it. It's more so, come on, let's go, to each other. Let's go. Let's get this kill. We got to get a stop here. Hey, we got to get a good shot here. I think Isaiah as the point guard has kind of, his voice has gotten a little bigger I think Orlando does a good job with it. I think Anthony Holland's been the guy who has been the steady guy in our program, the guy who's kind of always in the right spots and covering everybody's butt, including us as coaches. I just think they kind of, as a group, I think they've all taken ownership of this team, and so I think we have a pretty good player-led team, and that's why when you got guys that can lead themselves, it makes it your job a lot easier as a coach, and you can kind of focus on more of the X's and O's, because those guys they're making sure that they're in the right spots all the time.
So I'd love to know, I mean, you obviously go way back with Justin Hudson and know him very well and coaching alongside him. Obviously known as a defensive mastermind. He's been doing this for years with his different stops in the Mountain West. What do you think makes him so good at preaching or coaching the defensive side of the basketball?
His attention to detail. He sees it in practice, in games, sees it very well. I think, just the way he prepares his teams from one game to the next, for him, it's not about what happened yesterday, whether we won or lost. Our approach to the next day is going to always be about what's in front of us. And he never lets up. He never lets up. The kids don't get to, have a day off as, mentally. There are days where we don't go as hard physically, but they never get a day off mentally. And so I think that's been one of the biggest things. And it's always the same thing. The same message is to be the best defensive team we can possibly be. And we're trying to be the best defensive team in the conference. And that's been our set from day one. And so I think that's been his biggest thing, that he never lets up on that.
So as far as the conference is concerned, extremely deep league this year. It's not a 2-team race. You guys are involved. Wyoming, Colorado State, Boise State. Nevada's got a lot of talent. San Diego State, of course, is always. I guess my question to you is, what is it like coaching in a league like this when there are so many teams contending and knowing that you guys have a target on your backs and there are other teams that have targets on their backs as well?
Well, you can't see it, but I got a lot of bags under my eyes. A lot of sleepless nights. That's what it's like. You don't get to rest. And I mean, it's every night you're getting ready for something and somebody. The coaching in this league is at a very high level. The talent in this league is at a very high level. It's high major basketball. It's not, people talk about mid-major this, we don't have the resource that some of those other people have, but the basketball from night in and night out it's really, really good. And so it's fun, it's because of the competitor in you. You want to have opportunity to play against the best night in and night out and put yourself in that situation. Like I said earlier, we're just trying to put ourselves in the fight and be there at the end, because we do think we have a pretty good basketball team, but we know there's some other really good basketball teams in this league. And so you have to show it every night. You can't just talk about it and just hope that you're going to have a chance to beat people. You got to go out there and put yourself in position. And I think this is a defensive minded league. The teams you talked about, Boise, San Diego State, Wyoming, Colorado State, all really good defensive basketball teams and all efficient basketball teams, teams that take care of the ball and know how to play to their strengths of their personnel. And so, I think everybody in the league is trying to do that. And, I just think those are the teams that kind of come to the top as far as it relates to the defense.
As far as your team is concerned, obviously the great start to the season, is there anything in particular that you're maybe preaching as a coaching staff or something that you want to see change or improve as the season goes along?
Just continue to play the game easy at both ends of the floor, but specifically offensively. Keep making easy plays. I think that's been, we talked about the fact that we don't turn it over a bunch. Continue, lately our last couple of games we've had a high number of turnovers for us. 14 in one game, 15 in another. But you got to take care of the ball because as you get deeper in the league, it's going to get harder. You can talk about strategy and the kind of plays you're running. Everybody's going to know what you're doing. And so at that point, your players have to be able to make plays and react to what's going on. So they got to continue to play the game easy and play for each other. continue to play for one another at both ends of the floor and staying connected, because it is a long road and in a conference season. And so we got to continue to do that.
Coach, you talked about a lot of different things. I got a couple questions for you. So you've been in this league for a long time.
Yeah.
You had a stint.
Again, the camera's keeping all the gray hair that you can't see.
I love it. Yeah. So, and I do love those offices, by the way. I miss those offices. That was
man.
Good time.
Got great views. Great
views. Fresno State. But Utah State you were at, and talking to even Tim Miles just the other day, he was talking about how strong the league used to be. And his sentiment was that with this realignment, BYU is going to Big 12, the AAC will not be as strong with Houston and some of those teams leaving, that the Mountain West already at 5 as far as the net ranking, but next year may even take another jump because the teams at the bottom continue to get better. So I guess just talk a little bit about, again, Mountain West basketball and the excitement of being able to play in a league that you can possibly get multiple. I mean, at that time, it was like 4 considered 5 teams. It's headed back that way with 5 teams in the top 50 of the net. Obviously, 68 teams make the tournament. And then my other question is just about the development. I think another school in your league complimented you the other day, your staff, and how you guys have developed some of the guys that are there. It wasn't about the new acquisitions as much as it was the guys that are there taking the next step. So kind of a 2-part question. We'll give you the ISO like back in the day and let you roll with it.
Yeah. Oh, man. The league, as a whole, like I said, it's a high major basketball league. I mean, the Mountain West for a long time, obviously when BYU and Utah were in the league, along with, UNLV and New Mexico and San Diego State, those are the namesakes, so to speak, of the league. But, Boise stepped up. Utah State's gotten into the league and obviously put themselves in position to be a perennial power. I think where we're at here in Fresno, we're sitting on something that's special in the fact that we're in Central California. We got a great facility. I think we got a chance to continue to build here as well. And then, like you said, what some other teams, with Coach Miles and what his pedigree brings to a place like San Jose State, I think the league has a chance, like you said, to continue to get better. And by getting better, that means you saying like 4, 5, 6 programs year in and year out having a chance, to put themselves in a national setting. And so, that's only going to get better with leadership, not only from the conference, but from the university presidents and their administrations that realize what we have going on with this league and in this time. We do have a chance to put ourselves in that situation. And I think people are trying to do that, because like I said, this league is a high level basketball conference. And it has been for a long time. And I think we're continuing to show that from that standpoint. With the development of our guys, there's an old saying, get old and stay old. And there's a lot of ways to get old. And we've been able to get old. When we got here, we inherited an old group and we had some success. And then we, our recruiting and all those things allowed us to be able to take some good young talent. And then we had that, even though we had that second year, I think we lost 7 or 8 games by, 2 or 3 possessions. I think Ken Palm had us like the 351st luckiest team of the year, which means we were the most unluckiest team of the year. And so, so that team, even with that group, allowed those young kids to develop. You only get better when you're able to play. Guys that play get better. Guys that don't, they don't get any better. And so those, the Anthony Hollands, the Orlando Robinsons, the Leo Colomarios, the Deion Strauss, the Isaiah, those guys got to play a lot of games last year and get better. And then we were able to get a spring and a summer of individual work. And I think our coaching staff, and I'm not saying this because I'm on it. I'm telling you, I think our coaching staff does a really good job of connecting with young men. And that's where you got to get connected for them to get better. Connecting with young men, building those relationships, and then getting better. And we're not doing anything special. We're not doing anything that other people aren't doing to develop our players. We recruit good players, but then we also recruit good young men who want to get better. who want to be in the gym and work at it, and that's been the formula, I guess, for the development that we've had. And I appreciate whoever said that for noticing it, because a lot of times it's with the transfer portal, everybody thinks, well, you got these transfer guys, but your guys didn't get a whole lot better. But you can see that our kids have gotten better, and it's more of a testament to them than anybody, because they're the ones putting in the work. We're just here to facilitate.
B, I think we got you on mute.
Try to make sure I get the ISO, even though it's what did you say? Even though it's not anything fancy or quote unquote special, there's some good facilitating going on, Coach. There's a lot of programs that do not develop. So that being said, and going back to even my time at Fresno and before my time when they made the tournament with Coach Terry and Coach Jones, Coach Wainwright, they did a good job of having a similar in the fact that young guys got to play. Marvell Harris, the all-time lead scorer, he got to play a lot of minutes, similar to Orlando. You had a number of other talented players, Paul Watson, you go down the list, they got to play minutes so they could turn the corner because they played so many minutes. So I think it's a special formula, and it's been done there, whether you win the regular season or win the tournament, it's been done there. So I think that's an exciting thing for your guys to know and be a part of. So we always like to end only one way, Coach. I know you know. Funny story, what you got for us today? Anything you got?
Oh, man, a funny story. Does it have to be basketball related or just a funny story?
As long as it's entertaining.
Oh, man.
It's for the people right here.
Oh, entertaining. Well, okay, I got one that was it's. I thought it was funny. Other people may not think it was funny. Well, and hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for telling this story. So, Coach likes to go to movies. He likes to enjoy like that's his way to kind of unwind and relax and just kind of. And so, he's sitting in the movies and I think there's only two other people in there. So he's got the whole theater to himself, and the other two people in there are like he's sitting down in the front, and they're sitting way up top, and he's sitting there, enjoying his movie, and his phone somehow is moving around in his cup holder, and the light comes on his phone, right? And the usher is sitting over there, runs over, turn your light off on your phone. But his phone is frozen. He's pushing on the flashlight thing to try to get the light off. He's like, it won't turn off. He kept pushing. And now his phone, he can't even turn the power off on his phone. His phone's frozen. It's stuck. It won't even turn off.
I love it.
And so that's just like, sir, you have to turn your phone. You have to leave if you can't get your phone. And he's like, he looks around like, there's nobody in here. What are you talking about? Like nobody else can see what's going on. So he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he can't get it to go off. So sure enough, they made him leave.
Wow, are you serious? Wow,
he was so mad. He's like, I just got kicked out of movies because my phone wouldn't turn off. So the reason why that's funny is because he's in there trying to relax and chill. You know what I'm saying? The lights are off. I can sit here and watch this movie. I got my phones, it's silent. Nobody's gonna bother me. I'm just gonna veg out for 2 hours. I'm gonna get me 2 hours of just
Right.
He didn't get 2 hours of It's still in an uproar.
Oh man, that's too good.
So, and he told us that story. He goes, "You guys ain't gonna believe this. I got kicked out of the movies."
Next time, just tell him I said, put it in your pocket, Coach.
Right. Leave it in the car. Just go ahead and leave it in the car.
Or just go to the car and come back. Like you gotta have that movie, man.
Once the guy told him to leave, it was over with. He was like,
it wasn't meant to be. You're not fighting.
Yeah, this just ain't my day.
It wasn't meant to be. Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us, man. So excited for what you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
Again, the Valley's an important place to me, man. I spent some time there. So
it's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's as you know, it's a phenomenal place. They love their Bulldogs. It's a great situation, and the people here have been nothing but wonderful to me and my family, and
absolutely.
And a lot of our kids are from here, and obviously Coach is from the Valley. So it's we've got a great situation here. If we could just continue to get better, and get this thing going, and then hopefully, this will be the, a lead up to things to come, and we can continue to get better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Coach. Stay safe.
Thanks. You guys too, man.
As they say in the basketball world, stay positive, but test negative.
There you go. Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
the phrasing right now.
Trying to do that. Trying to do that for sure. So you guys do the same.
All right, we'll let Eli break it down. 30, 60 seconds. Ready, set, go.
There we go. Man, it's always good to have Coach T on and talking about his Fresno State Bulldogs. And they've been one of the great surprises this season. I identified them as a possible dark horse entering the year, just given the continuity that they have on their roster, which isn't a common thing in this league. And especially when you have a player like Orlando Robinson, he's an all-league candidate. He's a probably fringe All-American candidate with the production he has. He's been absolutely stellar. But the supporting cast has really developed, as Coach Felton shared with us. It's a team that gets after it defensively. It is not easy to score against this Fresno State bunch. And I think when the team is so defensive-oriented, in a league like this that's going to be especially competitive, I think it gives Fresno State a chance regardless of who they're playing. So it's a really fun team. I believe this is the highest they've ever been in KenPom, which is a testament to where this staff has gone as far as developing this team. And I think ironing out with last season, they had that end of the year surge where they looked kind of dangerous, and they've really carried it over. So it's a fun team. If they're hitting their shots, they're going to be especially tough out when it comes to the Mountain West tournament. And if they can just kind of hang around that 40 to 50 net range and continue to get some victories here and there and avoid any bad losses, I don't see why this team can't be in the at-large mix come Selection Sunday. So it's going to be a tough team to play. They've got the interior post presence with Robinson, which hardly any teams are going to be able to match. And when they play defense the way that they do, I mean, that's a pretty darn good recipe for winning the game in the tournament if it gets to that point.
Yeah, one of the best players in the conference, and I think all that time that they play together, like Coach said, just gives their cohesion another bump. And then obviously coaching staff is terrific, tremendous. And I think they're gritty now, and I think that's the part where maybe before they've had some talent, but maybe it wasn't as gritty. This team is kind of gritty and together, so it's not. You can go and get true road wins with this team consistently, which I think is always a sign of a great team. So excited about what they're doing. You'll hear more about Fresno State, and we'll be watching because it's going to be must-see TV in this league. Until next time, you know where to find us.